Ah, here. Oh, that's okay. Sorry about that. What we're doing? What I tend lots and ebook 50. What I'm doing manually. Commonplace. So commonplace. Right. Okay. Yeah. So commonplace. Little bit of Tiago for second brain. Not using para. Essentially, skills and ability throughout the year. OBS is telling me several times. Check that. It's telling me that it's not working. So let's just turn off the noise gate. We'll just have to deal with some low level noise for now because of the computer. It's sitting on the floor. The vibrations are coming up the floor, up through the desk and into the microphone. I did have for a short while a mic on a boom arm, but that had to go the way of the dodo, unfortunately. So what I'm essentially iterating towards is basically having this blog post already written for me by working through my Commonplace book. So if I kill this, let's go to Commonplace Book and see if we can load that in the browser as well. So yeah, again, Commonplace Book is a way to compile your own knowledge and store it somewhere. That way you can keep a log of things that are important to you. Things that are important to me are currently are books, tweets, videos, YouTube, whatever that I've come across, podcasts as well that I've come across that are actually interesting to me. So I was actually working my way through Ultralearning, which is a book by Scott H. Young. And I was adding some quotes into here. So let's go back to full screen with this. Let's go proper full screen, please, macOS. I don't like to go full screen with apps because, you know, it's called Windows for a reason. But there you go. Windows, icons, menus, pointers, WIMP. Right, so we're on when it's not possible to imagine an appropriate example. So I've caused an issue there. So let's go here. An appropriate example. Faster feedback, I remember that one. Intuition is magical. But it's not possible. Right, okay. Know exactly where we are. So, I'll stay connected to Wi-Fi, I think. Actually, I'll disconnect. I don't care that you know the name of my Wi-Fi. There you go, because you're never going to be here to connect to it. So, there you go. So the next quote that I wanted to add reads thus. How many of us lack the confidence to ask dumb questions? Feynman, that's Richard Feynman, of QED fame, knew he was smart and had no problem asking them. The irony is that by asking the questions with seemingly obvious answers, he also noticed the not-so-obvious implications of the things he studied. So I'm just going to, you can't see this, but I'm going to long press on that. Make sure I've got the full thing. Excellent. The wrong thing anyway, but there we go. Drop out of the book. Here we go. So we go back to annotations, and we were about 3/4 of the way through them. How many? Yeah, here we go. So what I'm going to do, I don't know whether you can see this too well, but this is the user interface I've got, and I'm going to go view details, with second item down, view details. Now I'm hand copying these things out because I find it goes into my head a little bit more, gives me a chance to reevaluate why I made this note as I work through them by copying them out. It gives me a chance to rethink them. So I have a folder here. Unfortunately, my head is in the way, so let's go out of full screen and drag you all across again. So let me double check that I've got the right chat URL as well. I have. Excellent. Okay, so I have a reading folder, Commonplace 2022, self-development, Ultralearning, and this is where all of my snippets go. That's where this individual file here is. There we go. So we get rid of that. So I need to create a new one here. So I'm going to go new note. What am I going to call it? On asking, quote, dumb questions. Now this is something that I do all the time. I am going to go template. This is one of the great things about Obsidian is that I can push. I've got these templates. So I'll show you those real quick. So I've got these templates up here. I've got a template for an annotation, which puts in today's date. I don't want today's date, but it will do for now. Gives me a place for the annotation, and then my thoughts go in this gap here, and then I can tag it if I want to. I could put the source in here and link back to the source, but that's fine. I've got a number of different ones for different things. So I'm going to close those. I'm going to go back to, where were we? Ultralearning on asking dumb in quotes questions. Let's go back to here. I'm going to end up with a window that's massive. Okay, right. So the reference was taken on 06/29. It's not a huge problem about writing down the date. It just, I like to keep a log of when I've taken it. Right. How many of us lack the confidence to ask dumb questions? I'm going to put oh gosh, still getting my head around Mac OS shortcuts, but there we go. Knew he was smart and had no problem asking them. Full stop. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can actually see what I'm typing. The irony, whoops, the irony. I do have some, so I've got some bone conduction headphones going, and I have some music playing into my ears. Problem is, it's not copyright free. For the next couple of streams I'm going to look into getting some copyright free music so y'all can listen along too, because I think that's quite nice. I'm actually running through, I'll talk about that in a moment actually. I'll talk about how I'm running that in a moment. Let me finish this off. The irony is that by asking questions with seemingly obvious answers, he also noticed the not so obvious answers. No, implications, not answers. Implications of the things he studied. Okay, so Richard Feynman is a pretty famous chap. Let me go like this and grab a Safari browser. Richard Feynman. If you didn't know, he was one of the... Oh, I'm not connected to the internet. Bear with me a second again, folks. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go connect to the internet. Click away. Because otherwise it would show you all of the Wi-Fi's in my area. And I feel like that's doxing someone. Right, so Richard Feynman was a physicist, theoretical physicist. And he's one of the many folks who worked on a whole bunch of stuff. But he had this idea of QED, which is brilliant. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to grab QED as well. QED, because that's quite interesting. QED, light and matter. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go back to Obsidian. So here, Scott is referring. Whoops. Double. There was a way to do it. I can't remember the Richard Feynman and the way that he would ask seemingly dumb, hate that phrase, questions. So this is the great thing, right? By asking these dumb questions, you're asking the question that everyone else in the room is assuming that you know the answer to. The great thing about that is when you're sitting around in a group and you ask that question, what you'll find is someone in the group will not know the answer to that question, which is why I like to ask these questions. Now the problem is I can sit here and say I like to ask these questions, and you're going to go, but Jamie, you're obviously going to say that you asked these questions because you're typing this up and you want to sound good to us. But I really do. Honestly, I ask these questions all the time. The great thing about asking these dumb questions is that you are able to clearly see the knowledge, see and share the knowledge, and context that is apparently assumed in the group. Knowledge and context that is apparent in the group. By asking these questions, you are I can't type, everyone, honest. You are able to actually see whether the assumption has been made erroneously. I think that's spelled correctly. I don't know. But yeah, the idea is that by asking the group the question, hey, I'm going to ask this stupid question. I don't, like, for instance, okay, right, somebody says to me, hey, you're going to do this with React and Redux and you're going to use some hooks. I will say, yo, how do I use a hook in this, a React hook in this instance? Because either I don't know or someone in the group may not know. So let's get that question answered so that then we're all on the same page. We're using the shades of how do you spell ubiquitous? Ubiquitous. I've wiped it out. Ubiquitous language. There we go. Right. All I'm doing is I'm taking that and having Google correct my spelling because I'm terrible at spelling. Ubiquitous language from domain driven. It's a hyphen there. Design. I forget the name of the chap. Domain driven design. Martin Fowler. No, it's the chap who wrote this book, Eric Evans. Domain driven design. There we go. Get this. It's Martin Fowler. Excellent. Okay, let's have a look at this. Ubiquitous language is a term that Eric Evans uses in domain-driven design for the practice of building up a common, rigorous language between developers and users. Let's just move this slightly so my face isn't in the way. The language should be based on the domain model used in the software, hence the need for it to be rigorous, since software doesn't cope with ambiguity. Excellent. Right, okay. As described by Eric Evans. Martin Fowler also has a lot to say on ubiquitous language in this blog post. I'm gonna put like that. I'm gonna go like that and link to it. Whoops. Put it there where it needs to be. We'll take a copy from here. Ubiquitous language is a term from that. Take that. Problem is, folks, I'm listening to some amazing chill hop stuff by the chill hop people. Definitely get their stuff on quote below. There we go. Definitely get their stuff. I will show you that in a moment. So we've created this note. Where do we add it? So we go to Ultralearning and we go to the end here. Now, what is the point of creating it separately and adding it in here? Well, what is the point of creating all of your libraries and adding them in separately? You can do this. Voila! And it just grabs all the text and dumps it in here. That way I can change it elsewhere. I can change it here and it will be added in. But the great thing about this is that Ultralearning is also added using this. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me just scroll back down. There's a exclamation mark or bang, then a double open square brackets and then double close square brackets. And what that does is that adds a preview, right? If I go to my Commonplace Book and look for Ultralearning, there we go, Ultralearning, it's actually grabbed all of the content from the Ultralearning note that we've just been building up and splattered it in here. Great thing about this, right? There we go. The great thing about this is that I can go over here, I can go there, and I can go export as a PDF, and it takes this file and all of the things that it embeds in, dumps it out as a PDF. And actually what I'm going to be doing is once I'm going to do this. Yeah, once I've actually compiled all of this and written the blog post for my 2022 continual professional development, I'm actually going to be giving this Commonplace Book away for free with links to, like, this is the ISBN, this is the book I've got it from, all the quotes and what they mean to me and why they are important. And the reason for that is I would like for other people to be able to gain some knowledge from me putting in all of this homework, I suppose. So definitely do consider keeping an eye out for that, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be, let's just go back to Ultralearning, there we go, is what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm just going to be asking people to make a one-off tiny donation to a charity of their choice, right? And then let me know, give me some kind of proof that you've done it, and I will give you this Commonplace Book for free, right? I've put in all this work, and all I'm asking is that you spend a little time and do something nice for some group of people, whatever group of people you like, right? That's all I'm asking for. So let's get the next highlight, shall we? Sorry, I clapped into the microphone then. Before I do that, I just want to tell you about this, right? So I'm actually at chillhop.bandcamp.com. I believe it's chillhop.bandcamp.com. Yeah, so I'm currently on my machine. I'm actually currently listening through to this Chill Hop Essentials Winter 2022. Now, if you look really closely, it will cost you €1 or more if you want it. And trust me, it is brilliant. It's like, what are we? 26 tracks of lo-fi chill hop. You know the YouTube channel Lo-Fi Chill Hop Study With Me? It's these folks, right? Their Essentials albums are brilliant because they're kind of like best-ofs of stuff that led up to the end of that period of time, right? So this is their fall one. So these ones here are then collected and dumped into a chill hop Essentials time period one, right? They're brilliant. Do consider getting them because I use them for when I'm reading, right? I sit on a train, I sit on some kind of transport, and I'm reading whilst listening to their stuff, and it chills me right out using these bone conducting headphones. So there you go. Let's go back to Obsidian. So we've got the dumb questions quote. What's the next one? Explaining things clearly and asking dumb questions can keep you from fooling yourself into thinking you know something you don't. I love it. It's this idea of checking your own assumptions. So I'm going to call it checking your own assumption. Checking your own assumptions. Okay, template, annotation. It's taken from Ultralearning. Now, I do like to, I like to use these double bracketed links because they're really good, right? And I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to guess it was the 29th. Yep, okay. I think all of the other ones in this folder will have the wrong date in them, but it doesn't really matter. I will talk about that anyway. Explaining things clearly and asking quotes dumb quotes questions. I hate that phrase, by the way. Dumb questions. I hate it. Can keep you from fooling. Whoops. So the reason I hate dumb questions as a phrase is because it assumes that there are dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. There's only questions you ask and questions you don't ask. By not asking the question, you're leaving it up to fate to decide whether you should have known this or not. If you're not sure, ask. Always. Please, just ask. Fooling yourself into thinking you know something you don't. Okay. Again, Scott here is talking about questioning your assumptions. An example here is, I remember I was in a meeting once, no, this was a job interview years and years ago, and I was asked, how would you go about storing some data so that it was persisted across web requests? For those who don't know, when you load a web page, right, that is stateless. It has no state inside it. And so the next request you make to a web server, unless you take some information with you and say, this is who I am, i.e. a cookie, a JWT, whatever, unless you take some information with you with that secondary request, the server isn't going to have any knowledge of your previous request or any requests before that. So you have like session management, or you have some state stored on the server. Now the question was just quite literally, how would you manage session state between web requests? Now I'm a server-side software developer, so I'm thinking I dump some kind of session data into a database, because I could use, in .NET we have this idea of a session data container. Problem is that only exists for one session. It's a put something in, read it out, and it's gone. It's like a dictionary or a stack where as soon as you read something out, it has gone. So you can't rely on that still being there. So what we're going to do, I said, is we're going to create a database table where we can store the session into it. We'll serialize that data, dump it in there with like a user ID and an expires time or something, and then we'll have a task that goes through every so often and removes the rows which are expired. Not brilliant, but it will do. Now the problem with that, of course, is that I was assuming that the question was asked in a server-side programming context. It was not. It was asked in a front-end using React web development context, right? And so the problem is that I answered as if I was a server-side developer, and actually they wanted it as a front-end. So what I should have done is ask the dumb question of, in what context are we talking about? I'd have gotten more information about how to solve the problem. I'd have been able to solve the problem to their satisfaction, and we carry on. The last thing you want to do in any situation or context is assume some unstated knowledge or information. We all know that those who assume make those who assume out of you and me. So we should never assume information or knowledge, and we should strive to never assume knowledge, as it will blow up in our face when we do. Cool, I'm okay with that. So let's save that. We're going to go over here and add it in here. Whoops. On checking your own assumptions. Excellent. So, next quote. In a fixed mindset. So there's fixed mindsets, and there's like, I don't know what the opposite of a fixed... I know what it is, but I can't remember the name of it. So, antonym of fixed. I think it's flexible. So the antonym is the opposite, right? So it's a growth mindset. Okay, right. So in knowledge-based work, there are two types of mindsets. There's a fixed and a growth mindset. Fixed mindset is when you are like, when you say, this is my knowledge, my experience, my opinion of this thing, and it's never going to grow. And a growth mindset is when you come across new information, you go, huh, let's learn that then. So in a fixed mindset, learners believe that their traits are fixed or innate, and thus there's no point in trying to improve them. In a growth mindset, in contrast, learners see their own capacity for learning as something that can be actively improved. In some ways, these two types of mindsets become self-fulfilling prophecies. Those who think they can improve and grow do. Those who think they are fixed and immutable remain stuck. So let's get that typed up. Again, I like to manually type these up just because it gives me that secondary, it gives me a chance to think, why did I make a note of this? What's so important about it? And how should I go on from here? So on fixed versus growth mindsets. Now, first off, both of these are equally, fixed and growth mindsets are equally valid, right? And so there's no right or wrong with either of these. Is that the 29th? Yep, okay. In a fixed mindset. However, I feel like if you're wanting to learn and grow, a growth mindset would probably fit better, because you're able to absorb knowledge which sits outside of your expertise and outside of your own arena. We'll come back to that as well. Learners believe that their traits are fixed or innate, and thus there's no point in trying to improve them. Now, there isn't a new line here. I'm going to put a new line because I feel like it makes sense. In a growth mindset. In contrast. There we go. Learners sees their own capacity for learning as something that can be actively improved. Improved. There we go. Another new line, not in the original quote, but I'm going to add it here just to make it easier. In some ways, these two types of mindsets become self-fulfilling prophecies. Those who think they can improve, semicolon, do. Nope, comma, do, semicolon. Those who think they are fixed and immutable, like C# strings, remain stuck. I'm stucky. There we go. Okay. I don't think there's a need to talk about that. That's fine. That one's okay. I'm okay with just adding a quote and not adding my own thoughts or things to it. Learning in whatever form it takes is something that's important to you. Is that the entirety of the quote? I'm not gonna bother with that one. The possibilities for learning anything are considerably broader than they might first appear. Although there are different types in ability among us all, they can often be exacerbated by the effective dimension they create in how we feel about learning. Feel as though you're lousy at learning and doing something, and you're robbed of the motivation to change. This is an important point on motivation. Template annotation. I'm going to put Ultralearning 629. All right. Again, I like to manually type these back out because again, it gives me. I've just skipped over two there that I'd highlighted, but I didn't feel were very. I don't know. They didn't seem very useful. Although there are differences in ability among all of us, they can often be exacerbated by the affective dimension they create. Dimension, it should have been an S, shouldn't it? Like dimension X. Yes, it should have. They create in how we feel about learning. This is really good. This is the important bit. Feel as though you're lousy at doing something and you're robbed of the motivation to change. Motivation is incredibly important, especially when learning something new. New things are generally tough to pick up, as they are likely fully new to you. As such, I need a semicolon there. As such, you are likely to not do brilliantly at the new thing the first few times you try to do it. Without motivation, you'll likely give up. Like me with exercise. I suck at it, and so I stop doing it. You will likely give up. Without motivation, you will likely give up. So keeping your motivation levels high is super important for a number of reasons. High when learning a new thing is super important for a number of reasons. And motivation for learning can be wiped out by the simple thought that I'm not good at learning new things. Allegorical tale. When I was at university, I was studying Japanese as part of my degree. And you know that thing about older people find it hard to learn new things? Well, guess what? There was a retiree in my class for Japanese, and he did wonderfully. Age will only be a barrier if you let it be a barrier. So not letting your thoughts be a barrier is as important as actually hunkering down and doing the thing. Gotta remain positive. My thing is always remain positive. Right, so we're going to close that. And I'm going to go, one bang, two brackets on motivation. It's always important. The more one learns, the greater the craving to learn more. The better one gets, the more one reorganizes how much better one could become. Excellent. let's get rid of that bracket there. Final quote for this book. That was my air freshener going off. On learning more and with a capital A more. Right. Templates. And it. No, not an author. Back. Template annotation. I'm going to put Ultralearning over here. See, learning is kind of like, if you get bitten by it, learning can be like a drug. Probably the wrong thing to compare it to, but learning can be really addictive. The more one learns, I'm going to put a capital T there. Capital T. The more one learns, the greater the craving to learn more. The better one gets, the more one recognizes how much better one could become. Learning is quite addictive if you can allow yourself to be bitten by the learning bug. Let's go. Once you've learned a new thing, you'll want to learn another new thing. And you'll also want to pass it on. Cool. So that's the final note in Ultralearning. So what I tend to do now is I then look back through all of my notes and I put my own key takeaways in here. So learning can be fun if you let it be fun. But you also need to allow yourself a safe space, a safe space to fail with the knowledge and support that you can pick yourself back up and continue on. Allowing yourself to lose motivation in your studies or whatever knowledge gains you're trying to achieve will effectively kill off your ability to actually learn. As with all things, be kind to yourself and allow yourself to get it wrong. You're not always going to get it right, especially when learning or doing something brand new. So let yourself get it wrong, as long as you can learn from those mistakes. Effective Ultralearning requires motivation, perspective, looking back and forward, and deliberate practice. If you can manage to achieve these on a regular basis, you can learn anything. The key is consistency. Excellent. So then when I go back to here, and I go back to my Ultralearning in here, wherever it is, drills versus direct practice. This is it. Immersion. Excellent. Fa-ba! There it is. I'm also going to do one. Whoops. Oh, gosh. I've just typed over it twice. There we go. And if you can get a mentor, regardless of whether they have lots or little experience with the thing you want to learn, then your learning journey will be even shorter. Excellent. Right, that's that. Cool. Cool. That's that done. Ultralearning notes taken. Mark this as read again, because I tend to mess it all up and do silly things as I go through, so that's cool. That's Ultralearning done. I'm going to scroll down past Ultralearning, see what the next book is. So the Science of Discord, already done that. Think Again. Right, okay. Where is Think Again? It'd be under T for think. Start with why talent is overrated. Think Again. Annotations. Again, right, so what I'm doing with these is, like I said, I'm handwriting these notes. There are apps and services that you can get for Kindles, Kobos, whatever, where as soon as you highlight a passage, it will be emailed to you with bibliographical information included. Problem with that is that just dumping that information somewhere, you've not actually gone back and read through it. All you've done is you've said, hey, this is a thing that I've read, and I've taken these annotations. Go store them somewhere. With this, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, everybody's opinion is different, but in my opinion, with there we go. In my opinion, with this system, let me pin that. With this system, in my opinion, I'm actually able to look at the note that I've taken. I'm then able to go, why did I take this note? What's my key takeaway from this? And what am I actually talking about? Why is this important to me, right? And so that's why I'm hand typing them out. Yes, it takes twice as long. You're right. I agree. It takes twice as long. But you know what? That's fine, because I'm okay with it. So we've got self-development. I'm going to create a folder called Think Again. There we go. Got my folder. Going to go full screen again. See if I can get this folder to be above or below me somewhere. There we go. Cool. So the first annotation I've got is rethinking is a skill set, but it's also a mindset. We already have many of the mental tools we need. We just have to remember to get them out of the shed and remove the rust. Okay. On rethinking. So I'm going to import a template. I'm going to call this an annotation. I'm going to go think again. There we go. These were taken in July on the 10th. Cool. Rethinking is a skill set, but it's also a mindset. We already have many of the the mental tools we need. We just have to remember to get them out of the shed and remove the rust. Rust. Cool. You and I already know how to rethink. We do it all the time. Whenever you have a thought, opinion, opinion, you opine, or belief about something, and you allow someone to challenge it in a friendly way, you are rethinking both yours and your friends' thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. Cool. Already got that. Excellent. So annotation on rethinking. Right. So why is this really useful? Okay. So one of the killer features of Obsidian at the moment, I don't think I've got. Have I got Canvas? I don't have Canvas. I will bring up Canvas in a moment. I'll bring up Canvas next time I update. But it is the graph view. So if I zoom out, this is all of the knowledge that I have put into Obsidian so far. Now they are grouped. So for instance, this is Lean Software Development Engineering for Developers, which is linked to my 2022 Commonplace book, which is linked to each of these books and authors around the place. I've also got things like daily notes that I used to take. I don't take daily notes at the moment, but I'm going to start doing them again. So what's this? What's this? This is Citizenship in a Republic. So this is related, right? It's not linked anywhere, but this is actually related. Theodore Roosevelt's The Man in the Arena, aka Citizenship in a Republic, is actually linked to Dare to Lead, which is a book that I read. Dare Greatly, sorry. A book that I read by Dr. Brene Brown. So there you go. That's where I have them. Let's open this up. Right. On mental fossils. This is a really good one. Let me write out the annotation and then I will discuss it. 7. Again, I love to read through them. I've already read through this one, right? Outdated facts are mental fossils that are best abandoned. Okay, so what's so great about this? Okay, let's say that you had a fact. I don't know what kind of facts I can come up with. Okay, right. When I was at university and we were studying language design, all of us in the class, and I don't know why, but all of us got it into our head that the C sharp keyword static meant that something couldn't be changed. Because in human language, if something is static, it is not moving, it is not going to change something about it. You could say that a static wheel is not going to move. It's not going to enter into the position in which it is moving, the state in which it is moving. But that was an outdated fact. I don't know where it came from. It's a mental fossil. We need to abandon that. And I remember the lecturer, Rob Miles, he actually said to us, look, static does not mean it can't be changed. And we were preparing for an exam. He said, if any of you on the exam, when trying to write a description for the keyword static, write that it can't be changed, I will disembowel you with a rusty spoon. Now, obviously, he was being kind of silly. It was a little violent of a description of the thing that he was going to do. He was being a bit silly, but he got the point across. Just going to check where I am through my playlist that is playing that you can't hear. Yeah, so let's lock that down because it just moved. Excellent. Again, I feel like that's self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Rethinking about the facts that the old facts that you have based on perhaps wobbly logic and reassessing them in the face of new facts can only be a good thing. So imagine you're a doctor and you were told that, hey, if you go like this on someone's head, it will stop them getting headaches. And then somebody comes along and says, no, the way to stop people from getting headaches is to stop them from having to witness loud noises, loud bright lights, lots of fluids in their diet, lots of vegetables and things like that. The new facts outweigh the old facts because doing this doesn't stop most people from getting headaches. So you need to be able to rethink that. Let's do mental fossils. Excellent. We're well on the way. Okay. This one is more of a silly thing, but I like it. On decisiveness. Have I spelled that correctly? Yeah. Template, annotation. Think again. It's important to be able to think again, right? I'm beginning. Whoops. Begin. Sometimes I just like silliness, right? I'm going to tag this with silliness. There we go. So that's like not to be taken seriously. Whoops. Take the pen, Jerry. Undecisiveness. There we go. I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld recently. Okay. The brighter you are, the harder it can be to see your own limitations. Being good at thinking can make you worse at rethinking. Okay, so this is about being stuck in your ways. Whoops. Okay. Think again. Move that out of the way. It's kind of... I get why it does it, but it's kind of annoying that it does that. Okay. The brighter you are, the harder it see your own limitations. Okay, let me get the author's name for this. Adam Grant. Okay. Is yeah, that metaphor works. Here, Adam Grant is saying that if you devote your time to the study of something with an unwavering mindset of this will always be the way it is and will never change, you run the risk of creating unchangeable or immutable knowledge nuggets. Whoops. Or immutable knowledge nuggets. The last thing you would want... we don't want knowledge built on a house, on a foundation made of sand, but we also don't want concrete and steel, whoops, which cannot be repaired or replaced if needed. I don't have to, I shouldn't want to take the house that represents all of my knowledge and destroy that whole thing to be able to replace one thing that is yeah. Oh, what was the quote that I interviewed someone recently for the .NET Core podcast? Stephen Clary. That's it. Thank you, Stephen. I interviewed Stephen Cleary recently. The episode hasn't come out yet. I interviewed Stephen Cleary recently for the Don't Go podcast, and he said, you don't want to have to trash your house and rebuild it in order to repaint the bathroom. Wait, hang on. What have I got in that note? I do have a note for the podcasts that I work on. Let's have a look, see what this is. Yeah, I'm still working on building that up, and I can actually get rid of that now. Go. This is an episode of the which has not yet been released. Yes, you don't want to have to take a wrecking ball to your house and rebuild the entire thing. Whoops. Oh gosh. In order to redecorate your bathroom. We need to be able to modularize our knowledge and say that if this thing changes, it shouldn't change this thing here, unless we're talking about a universal truth, right? If somebody says that pi is no longer 3.14192, whatever it is, then that will change everything. But very few things actually change in that way. So, and being bright and stuck in your ways. Excellent. The curse of knowledge is that it closes our minds to what we don't know. Good judgment depends on having the skill and the will to open our minds. I'm pretty confident that in life, rethinking is an increasingly important habit. Of course, I might be wrong. If I am, I'm quick to think again. What I really like about this author is he throws humour in. On having an open mind. Mid-mind. You don't want an open middle, folks. That means all your guts will fall out. This is from Think Again. Excellent. 07. 10. The curse. Cursority. The curse of knowledge is that it closes our minds to what we don't know. Known knowns, unknown unknowns, right? We'll come back to that in a moment. Good judgment depends on having the skill and the will to open our minds. Now I'm putting hyphens there. There's a longer hyphen that you put in, but it doesn't matter. I'm pretty confident, he says, confident that in life, rethinking is an increasingly important habit. Of course, I might be wrong. Of course, I might be wrong. If I am, I will be quick to think again. Love the use of humor in this quote. Let's go bigger with this. Yeah, to find ourselves being unintentionally closed-minded when we learn something. When we learn something, a very deep level. I feel like the Hanselman how do you know this crap is related to this. I keep the browser open actually. Hanselman how do you know this crap? How do you even know this crap? Brilliant. That's what we want. Take that link. There we go. I wonder if I can... Whoops. So command goes to the end of the line. Got to remember that. Okay, so the idea is the more deeply we know something, the more closed off, the more tunnel vision we get, right? The deeper we know something, the more likely we are to suffer with tunnel vision with respect to that one thing. As such, we can end up not being able to rethink our assumptions and knowledge, which could lead to us making a mistake based on our mental fossils. Yeah. Cool. I like it. Having an open mind. Ah, yes, he talks about Dunning-Kruger. Again, right? More humor. But it's Dunning-Kruger? Yeah. Oops. Let's zoom in one more time. There we go. Right, think again. Think again. 07, 10. Dunning. Quips. The first rule of the Dunning-Kruger club is you don't know you're a member of the Dunning-Kruger club. So the great thing about this, right, Dunning-Kruger, Google's going to be really wondering what I'm talking about, what I'm getting about, by jumping between these two different, okay. What is the actual people with low ability, expertise, or experience regarding a certain type of task? Yeah. Is there a relation between someone, whoops, an inept person's skills, perceived without the E on the end, the IFE, no, IEF, belief that they are, I just need to check an email, folks, the staunch belief that they are more highly skilled than they let on. Oh gosh. Oh no! Replace all of that with an ohm. Than they are proven to be. Where is my web browser? It's open over here. I need to really quickly check something, folks, so I'm going to be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. I had to double check that I'd received an email about something that was quite important. For those who may be interested, yes, I received the email. So, fantastic. Okay, so, yes. The joke... Oh, gosh. Joke here being that... I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off just for now. Being that... Did I close the browser? I didn't. Let's close that too. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you have Dunning-Kruger, simply taking a moment to rethink your position on something might be a way to get away from having Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, cool. Okay, Dunning-Kruger. In rigorous studies of leadership effectiveness. Let me try that again. In rigorous studies of leadership effectiveness across the United States and China, the most productive and innovative teams aren't run by leaders who are confident or humble. The most effective leaders score high in both confidence and humility. Although they have the faith in their strengths, they are also keenly aware of their weaknesses. They know that they need to recognize and transcend their limits if they want to push the limits of greatness. This has links to being on daring greatly. Where are we? Daring greatly. Yeah. So, I'm transcending limitations in leadership. Cool. Not Thinknetic. Think again. There we go. I didn't really like the book by Thinknetic. It's a book on introducing you to critical thinking, and it was good. It didn't really grab me. It didn't learn the thing. I don't know whether I'm being big-headed or not, but I felt like I knew most of it. Anyway, in rigorous studies of leadership. Well done. Leadership. Effectiveness across the United States of whatever. And Canada. Oh, no, not Canada. China. The most productive and innovative teams aren't run by leaders. Yep. Who are confident and humble. The most effective leaders score high oh gosh, that scores high in both confidence and humility. Although they have faith respectively score higher confidence and humility. Okay. Although they have faith in their strengths, they're also keenly aware of their weaknesses. They know they need to recognize and transcend their limits if they want to push the limits of greatness. Excellent. So, this, again, rethinking is about not just rethinking the knowledge you have, but the skills that you have and the skills of those around you. A leader is not someone who just barks orders at people and says, do this, do that, do the other. They are people who look for ways to bolster their own weaknesses, but also to bolster the weaknesses of those around them. Okay, so, shades of both. We need 2 brackets, Brené Brown and Simon Sinek here. Specifically, Dare to Lead and Leaders Eat Last, respectively. 1 second, I've got this cough I've got to shift. That's better. Right, okay. A good leader will look at the strengths and weaknesses of themselves and those around them, those that they lead. Good leaders will spend time grouping people together such that their collective strengths actually bolster and improve. Nah. And so that they actually bolster and effectively nullify the weaknesses of the individuals. Individuals. There we go. I can spell, just not greatly. I'm also not very good at typing, you'll see. And you'll say to yourself, but this guy's been a software developer for 14 years. Well, guess what? I'm not hired to type. I'm hired to solve the problem. Sometimes the problem is solved by typing. Other times, the problem is solved by talking. Because no code is the best code. Anyway. Do I have a... Yes! I don't have a page, so I'll go create that. Works on retail. Is it retail leadership? I'm pretty sure it's called retail leadership. Again, I'm going to switch my Wi-Fi on. I don't want you all to see everyone else's Wi-Fi's around the world that I live in. So, the part of the world anyway. There we go. Turn that back on. Right, okay. I'm pretty sure it's retail leadership. And I'm sorry, Steve, if you're watching. Retail leadership with Steve Worthy. Is it retail leadership? Retail leadership it is. Retail leadership. Right. I'm going to go like this. I think I've just woken up the WordPress instance it runs on. Okay. Retail leadership. And whoops. Pretty sure it's .com. It is. Excellent. Cool. So Steve Worthy works on Retail Leadership and Podcasters Live, and he is absolutely amazing at what he does. I've gone and put the Steve Worthy file in the wrong place. So I'm going to come out of full screen and I'm going to drag it to the right place. Just need to figure out where the right place is. So if I brain dumps, calls, daily notes, creative output. I think it's in creative output. Partners in crime. Yep, alright. So drag this. Can I drag and scroll? There we go. Plop that in there. Excellent. Excellent stuff. Back over here. Is it me or are those dots out of alignment? Huh. Wonder if that's a Mac OS or an Obsidian thing. Anyway, have we got shades of Steve Worthy linked there? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so Steve Worthy talks about leadership. He talks about leadership specifically in the retail space, but obviously his lessons are equally as valid to non-retail leaders. That's why I consume his content and listen to his podcasts, because they are brilliant. At the time that we are doing this live stream, I believe he's got some new episodes of Retail Leadership on the way. And he's also got new episodes of Podcasters Live starting soon as well. So do keep an eye open for those. Sorry, I just had a completely unrelated email pop up on my phone then. So I'm going to go on Transcending Limitations. Great thing about this is when you do the double brackets, it shows you a little window. You can see this little window here, and it's showing you the things that you created most recently. So this was the most recent thing I created. This is the last recent thing of these 6. And so it's this file here. So it's dragging it in. Again, this is my note for this book. This was an ebook. I wonder if I can get the ISBN number for it. So let's... Am I connected? I am. So I'm going to go with the story graph. I really like using the story graph. I've misspelt it, but I will let Google correct me. The story graph is brilliant. I used to use Goodreads, but I prefer the story graph. I just do. Think again. Whoops. There's nothing wrong with Goodreads. My only problem is that it's in the back pocket of Amazon. So this is why I use the story graph, because it's sort of like an independent thing. So I read this one. So I need to get the ISBN number, and it was 2nd of February 2021. I didn't realise it'd come out last year, but there you go. Paste that in there. Excellent. Cool. Yep. Right. Think again. Transcending limitations in leadership. Right. Imposter puts us in a beginner's mindset, leading us to question assumptions that others have taken for granted. So I'm going to put that on the label with an I. So this is related to imposter syndrome, right? I'm going to put the tag here. I'm going to put imposter syndrome, because I feel like there's going to be loads of these as I start working my way through it. Think again. 07, 10, yep. The label imposter puts us in a beginner's mindset, leading us to question assumptions that others have taken for granted. Parenthetically, what's the phrase? What is the phrase I'm looking for? What is the phrase? Antithetically, I think. Antithetically. I'm going to copy paste that because I don't know whether that's the word. I don't even know whether that is a word. So let's go dictionary. Dictionary. Oh yeah, directly opposed or contrasted, mutually incompatible. Cool. Antithetically to imposter syndrome. Yeah. By allowing ourselves to act as an imposter, we can feel more confident, asking the questions. The dumb hate that phrase. The dumb questions which others will feel less inclined to ask. This will allow us to be more confident in our understanding. Oh gosh. As we have asked those questions which others would not, meaning that we are not making any assumptions. Excellent. So again, imposter syndrome can be good. On the label of imposter. Richard Feynman comes up again. All right. On Feynman on being on fooling yourself. I feel like I need to have a page just for Richard Feynman quotes, but there you go. The great thing about this is it grows as you're doing it, right? So I can eventually have a page full of Richard Feynman quotes and link them to all of the books that I've read. But I'm okay for now with just adding them ad hoc and then joining them all together later if I choose to. Because you see, with a second brain, with the dumping of all of this knowledge and all of these ideas, the second brain, the idea is that you put all of this information somewhere such that if you need it in the future, you can get it back. But it's what fits my workflow. My workflow currently is this idea of a single note for an annotation, a single note with links to all of the annotations for a book, and then a single note for a commonplace book for that year, which links to each of the books, videos, podcasts, whatever. It might be that in a year's time that doesn't work for me anymore. But, you know, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. What I'm going to do for the time being, I'm going to be right back again. Got to send a couple of text messages and check in on some people, and I will be right back. So catch you in a few minutes. Hello again. Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that, folks. Right, so I needed to send a text message. What we need to do is we need to write this up. Richard Feynman has come up yet again. I will leave it for now, but if I get any more quotes from him, I may build a page just for quotes by Richard Feynman and links to all of the places that quote him. Physicist. Yeah, Richard. I had to double check that. Sometimes some words just don't look right to me, but that's fine. That's my own problem, not yours. Richard Feynman, quipped. Oh, gosh. Quipped. You must not fool yourself. And you are the easiest person to fool. Find. I'm going to copy this. I've lost that. I need to go back here to get my Feynman on fooling yourself. Right. Yeah, so Richard Feynman proving, okay, Richard Feynman proving that he was indeed the dude. Because he really was. Let's just check on how my playlist is going. Excellent. He really was. And we need to be careful not to fool ourselves. It's very easy when we think we know something to hold on to that fact and to not allow other facts in. And by doing that, we're fooling ourselves. It is very important to remember how easy it is to be fooled by an by holding on to the fact, one which has been proven to be incorrect or lacking in correct detail. Cool. Okay, we're going to drag Feynman in again. Cool. We choose our views and we choose to rethink them. Bear with me a second. This has the potential to be rather spicy. So we choose our views and we can choose to rethink them anytime we want. This should be a familiar task because we have a lifetime of evidence that we're wrong on a regular basis. Yeah. Template, annotation. Think again. Is that on the same day? Yep, I flew through this book. This is only 2 days in, and I'm already a third of the way through the book, but there you go. We choose our views, and we can choose to rethink them anytime we want. This should be a familiar task because we have a lifetime of evidence that we're wrong on a regular basis. Positing that we rethink automatically whenever we are proven, we have a background, whoops, of rethinking automatically whenever we were proved to be wrong in the past. For instance, at school. So we should rely on our habit. That might be a good set of books to read next year. Books about habits. Atomic Habits is a book that's next on my list. I'm looking around for my code, it's right in front of me. Anyway, rely on our habit of rethinking whenever we are challenged. Again, it has the ability to be spicy, but we'll not let it be. Right? We're not going to take this and make it a political spicy comment. So we're coming up on an hour and a half. I want to go till 2 hours and see how we're doing. I'm just going to check this. I've got some messages. Oh, no, there are already messages that I've already dealt with. Cool. Okay. If we're insecure, we make fun of others. If we're comfortable being wrong, we're not afraid to poke fun at ourselves. Laughing at ourselves reminds us that although we may take our decisions seriously, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. Research suggests that the more frequently we make fun of ourselves, the happier we tend to be. Instead of beating ourselves up about our mistakes, we can turn some of our past misconceptions into sources of present amusement. So the thing to remember here is that we have to do it in a healthy way. Because it's very, very easy to turn anger inwards. Right? We're not doing it with anger. Right? We'll come back to that in a minute. On at I'll have to be very careful with this. Let me write out the code and then I'll brain dump some ideas and turn them into sentences. We might take our decisions seriously, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. Research suggests that the more frequently we... Oh gosh. We make fun of ourselves, the happier we tend to be. I'm going to leave the asterisk in because he put an asterisk there. Instead of beating, because I want the footnote as well. Beating ourselves up about our mistakes, we can turn some of our past misconceptions into sources of present amusement. There we go. Okay. So firstly, what I need to do is I need to find that footnote detail because the author has left a footnote there. So I need to go. Also, we don't have to take it. Author did that. very important, I think, to capture that footnote, because the importance here is that we talk about why that footnote exists. Now, you may think, and I do too, that referring to just two genders and referring to male and female, that Grant here is being very specific and using slightly older words, older languages, and that indeed is true. So what I want to do is, so firstly, swap men for masculine presenting. And so firstly I need a comma, not a comma, I need a colon. Okay, I'm likely, again, this is unintentional ignorance. I'm likely using the wrong phrases here, but I would prefer to swap men for masculine presenting and women for feminine presenting, just because I feel like the use of the word men and women there, it's a little old world, even though this book came out only 1 year ago. And so let's use masculine and feminine presenting rather than men and women. But I can see why Grant has written it this way, because the research, which is a few years old, and you know, is a little out of date, out of touch with the words that are being used now, the common popular vernacular. I'm going to swap them when I read this out loud. I'm going to swap them from masculine presenting and feminine presenting. Okay, and then secondly, we must be able to laugh at ourselves in a fun, happy, and all-round good. I need to put that in as bold way. We're not focusing on the fact that we were wrong per se, as this could lead to either to problems with problems for neurodiverse friends. So if I, for instance, if I suffer with anxiety and depression and a whole bunch of neurodiversity things, and I start poking fun at my earlier self, that's poking fun at my identity of who I am, or rather who I was. So that could cause issues. We're laughing at ourselves in the same way that it's more like when Miss 12, one of my daughters, when Miss 12 does something wrong and we laugh at her, we say we're laughing with her, not at her. We're not laughing at the fact that she did it wrong and ha, you did it wrong. Well, that was a kind of a silly outcome, not the behavior that led to it, not the actions that led to it, but the outcome was kind of silly. So we need to remember that we're laughing at the outcome. So get rid of this. Laugh at ourselves by focusing on the outcome, on the humorous outcome of the knowledge or information rather than our behavior or beliefs, which were created as a consequence. You don't create behavior, you do create behaviors as a consequence of that knowledge or information. Because you see, we want to laugh about the thing that we don't have control over. We want to laugh at the thing that happens as a result of it, not us doing the thing that causes the result to happen. Sorry, I bashed the microphone then. Because by laughing at ourselves for doing the thing that causes the thing to happen, we have this ability then to it then becomes almost like a personal attack. As long as it's not as long as the humor is not in any way attacking, we should be okay. Like, look at the length of the quote on the footnote and look at how long we've spent talking about it. This is an important thing to get right. So I'm gonna leave it at that, because that's my on laughing at ourselves. It doesn't matter whose fault it is that something is broken if it's your responsibility to fix it. Actor Will Smith has said, taking responsibility is taking your power back. I absolutely love that. Responsibility is taking power back. Boom. No, it's not author, it's think again. Still 11? 11, okay. Cool. What I'd really be interested in, and I'm going to have to send it over. I know he's not watching, but Steve, I'm going to have to send you this Commonplace book so you can have a look through it and tell me what you think. Because I feel like our ideas are like this, right? There's some things that we're really, really ratcheting up on. So it doesn't matter whose fault it is. Something is broken if it's your responsibility. My goodness, responsibility. There we go. To fix it. Oh, comma. Actor Will Smith has said, I've put that with an L, taking responsibility is taking your power back. Full stop. Okay. Shades, no more shades of Brené Brown's see if I can find the point in Daring Greatly about fault. No? Because it won't be. Daring greatly. Right, okay. Gonna take it. Right, okay. Fault. Really? Alright. I'm going to just hide me for a second because I'm searching for something. Oh, and the frame as well. What's this from? This is, we're going to hide that one and hide that one. Get rid of that. Shame, blame, loneliness, courage. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at. I'm going to leave the point about it being related to Brené Brown's Daring Greatly there. That's brilliant. So let's get rid of that. Taking responsibility and power back. So I'm only going to really do this for another 10 minutes because I've already taken up 2 hours of yours time. And as good as this is, because it is good, we also need to find time to do the things that we want to do in our own time as well, right? So I'm going to take a little time once I've done this to then go and chill out. I've got some time without little ones today, so I'm going to spend some time doing some me things, and by that I mean, I'm going to cook myself a nice meal. I'm going to watch some silly TV shows, and maybe kick back and relax, because that's important too. That's the beauty of task conflict. In a great argument, our adversary is not a foil, but a propeller. With twin propellers spinning in divergent directions, our thinking doesn't get stuck on the ground, it takes flight. I really like that. So this is all about like Socrates. Yeah, related to Socrates. So this is on great arguments and okay, so the great thing about this, I think again, and it was 7 when 11, okay. Propeller, not propeller. Propellers with twin propellers spinning in divergent directions. Our thinking doesn't get stuck on the ground. It takes flight. So the great thing about this, I love this metaphor as it captures full S here, the thought process of an intelligent debate, especially one which uses the, I'm going to have to go back here, Socratic method. Straight to Wikipedia, love this. Socratic method. Okay, yeah, so by allowing yourself to be surrounded by people who have different viewpoints, opinions, backgrounds, and experiences to yourself, you're able to then present your opinion, your idea, your experience, your thing to them. And as long as you do it in a Socratic way, using the Socratic method, or as long as you ask them about their opinions and backgrounds in the Socratic method, using the Socratic method, then you are able to allow your viewpoints and opinions and their viewpoints and opinions to metaphorically take flight. And you're able to achieve more information. You are rethinking. This is rethinking. This is, yeah, but distilled to its purest form. Excellent. I'm happy with that. So let's go. Arguments are taking flight. I love this. I love metaphors. Metaphors really, really, really get my creative juices flowing. And I think that will do it for now. Mainly because I'm starting to get a bit tired. I've organised the bits that I wanted to organise, and I'm starting to get to the point in this particular book, Think Again, where 2021's particular problems start to come up. And I'm not feeling like I'm in the best place to be able to describe those and walk through why I've annotated those particular parts just yet. But we will do this eventually. Again, this is eventually going to become this 2022 Commonplace Book, which includes, if I can scroll all the way back to the top, if it will let me, I should have just clicked there. It includes books. It includes one episode of a podcast, I believe, or it might include two. No, it just includes one, and it includes a couple of videos too. This one, fantastic. I don't care that it's a pro wrestler. I don't care about that. Eddie Kingston makes some really, 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 really good points, and they are super important. And this is just so important, right? So Charles Lim, to be creative, don't think so hard, right? It is an 11-second segment, right, where Alan Alda asks, how do we tell someone they've got their facts wrong? And Charles Lim says humbly, because that assumes that you think you have yours right. And look at how much I've written about just that, right? It's mad. And that's just a little bit of it, right? I even got it linked to a tweet that I wrote. All of this is going to become this is my Commonplace Book for 2022, right? I've still got a book that I'm reading through that I haven't finished yet. And I will actually show you. I don't mind. So let's go back. Okay. It's I Want to Be Where the Normal People Are by Rachel Bloom. And it's brilliant. It really is. It's really good. So there you go. I'm going to close my dictionary. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to come out of full screen. There are a few books in my Commonplace Book that won't get included because I haven't had a chance to really fully take annotations. But what I'm going to do is I have these 53 books listed and the one podcast and one video listed. I need to round that down to 10 with 2 to 3 sort of honourable mentions. And then include those in the blog post that is going to go out. When did I put the last one out? Let's find out when I put the last one out. Like the day that it went out. I think I've already gone past that day. So this went out on December 29th. So I like to put it out close to the end of the year. So I've still got a couple of days. It's the 22nd of December 2022 as we go live with this. And so what I'm going to do, oh, look at that. I've made a typo there. I'll have to fix that. I will fix that, but that's fine. And, oh, look at that. Some pictures as well. Essentialism. Marie Kondo. Excellent. Moral and Alda. Yeah, and loads of honourable mentions, right? So it might just be that my 53 books get added there. But again, right, I'll put this in the blog post when I write it. If you want access to this Commonplace Book with my key takeaways from each book, annotations and other related sources, then all you will need to do is make a single donation to any charity of your choice, right? And then show me the proof that you've made that donation, and I will happily give you the PDF of this. I'm still working on getting the formatting of it good when it comes out, because I mean, I'll show you what it looks like. Export to PDF. Where did it go? Export to PDF. Include file name as title, page size A4, landscape, margins, default, downscale. Okay, and it'll say where do you want to store it. I want to store it on the desktop. That's going to do its thing. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's not brilliant, is what it is. There it is. Like, the formatting is not brilliant, so I need to work on the formatting to make it better. But it is currently 68 pages long, right? Now, obviously, some things don't get included, like that related source there doesn't get included. So I need to do some. I can hide. The great thing about this is it uses CSS, so I can hide and show things with CSS. But you can see that all of these quotes are in here, and they're really, you can see why they are there. And what I want to do is, like, when I come to a new one, I want it to be on a new page or whatever. But again, that's CSS, right? So I can include those as I go along, and that's not a problem. But you will get this if you want it. Look at this, right? There's this one bit about Agile that set me off. There's some stuff there about friends and people with actual names that I'll need to cut out of the version that I give to people, but there you go. But anyway, that's me working on my Commonplace book again for 2022. Hopefully I can use this. The idea with this is that it becomes essentially this is the blog post. I just need to edit it down and then I can post it, right? And so I'm already doing all of this information, and the great thing is it's causing me to go back and reflect and rethink and refocus and relearn and talk through why I made these choices with these particular things. If you are watching this on demand and you're watching this on YouTube, do let me know in the comments if you are finding any of this useful, because if you're not, then I will stop doing it. But I think that this is quite useful to do. Maybe I should put this on my own channel rather than the channel for the podcast, but who knows? Anyway, when I get round to doing more investigation into stream-friendly music, there will be some lo-fi stream-friendly music in the background, and I will get like tags to show up in the bottom corner somewhere around here as I'm doing it. But that will be for another day. What I will say is I want to say thank you all for joining me on this journey whilst I work on my Commonplace book and my second brain. And I will catch you all again. I hope if you are watching this live, or if you're watching this very shortly after it goes out, I hope you have a wonderful set of holidays and that you have a fantastic 2023. Let's all work together to make 2023 amazing, yeah? All right. Well, I'll see you again real soon, folks. See you later.